Caetano Jose Madeira.
Your Excellencies, Mr. President, thank you for giving me the floor. On behalf of the chairperson of the African Union Commission, Madame Nkosazana Zuma, and that of Ambassador Ismail Shergi, Commissioner for Peace and Security, who was unable to make it here today because of the ongoing AU summit. I warmly greet you, Mr. President, and all members of the Security Council. Since my last briefing to Your Excellencies, there have been important and encouraging political and security developments in Somalia. Despite enormous and multiple challenges, Somalis have defied the odds and completed their parliamentary election. A new bicameral federal parliament is now in place in Somalia as a result of a highly disputed and engaging electoral process. The presidential election is scheduled to take place on 8 February as announced. The African Union and AMISOM, in close partnership with IGAD, the UN, and other international partners, stood by Somalia and provided the parliament, the government, the C8, as well as the IADRM, the support, assistance, and advice it could, so that the electoral process is conducted in accordance with the approved terms of reference. Its credibility is enhanced by ensuring that allegations of malpractices and other irregularities are objectively, properly, and timely addressed, and the attempts by Al-Shabaab to taint and discredit its final outcome does not succeed. The political environment is that of hope and confidence as the newly inaugurated Speaker of the House of the People announced the priorities of the national political agenda as being the continuation and completion of the constitutional review, the formation of political parties, the establishment of local governments, the dialogue with the Somaliland, the strengthening of revenue collection capacity, the building of state institutions, and enhancement of their capacity to deliver basic and essential services to the people. As partners united in a common struggle against violent extremism and destabilization, we members of the international community, are called to support this parliament, not only in achieving these goals, but also in enhancing its role as the privileged forum for dialogue, political debate and negotiation, national reconciliation and cohesion, the rightful representative, the mouthpiece and the legitimate interpreter of the will, aspirations, and apprehensions of the people of Somalia in the coming 4 years. Despite being a result of an electoral process which fell far short of the cherished one person, one vote, the coming into existence of this parliament represents progress and displays unique characteristics. Apart from having passed a severe scrutiny by their own communities, the members of this parliament have won the trust of their people when they emerged victorious from an electoral competition in which the majority of 51 delegates for each candidate voted for each one of them. This feature was not there in 2012, where only a few elders had the right and power to determine alone who should represent their community and the people of Somalia. 15% of the new parliamentarians are youth aged between 25 and 35 years, and 24% of the parliament are women. These two social categories represent the majority of the Somali population today. They are the face of the most vibrant and most enduring future of the Somali society. Many have been exposed to different political, social, and cultural environments, which is an asset in itself. This new reality, if properly harnessed, has the potential to help Somalia move faster away from its current predicament. Another important development in the period under consideration is the fact that, despite al-Shabaab's vow to thwart the process, the parliamentary election took place in all the 6 designated electoral centers without any security incident that could be attributed to al-Shabaab. This was possible because of the professionalism and close coordination and cooperation that existed between the Somali National Security Forces and AMISOM, the effectiveness of the plan they put in place, as well as the enhanced and sustained exchange of real-time actionable intelligence. This effort is continuing and is producing commendable results in other areas of joint endeavor. Mr. President, the gains accumulated with the successful launch of regional states can be compromised if the current political unease that is witnessed in a good number of these regional states is not properly tackled and timely addressed. The continued existence of such tensions has the potential to arouse the appetites of negative armed groups who normally prey on such convoluted environments and escalate violence to unexpected and challenging levels. Mr. President, AMISOM is working hand in hand with the Somali National Security Forces. It continues to provide a secure environment for the Somali political process to thrive. Though weakened, al-Shabaab continues to engage in targeted assassinations, direct and indirect fire, ambushes reinforced with the improvised explosive devices on AMISOM convoys along supply routes, the hurling of grenades, vehicle-borne improvised explosive devices, and infiltration across all sectors, including Mogadishu. Despite logistical, financial, and operational challenges, AMISOM continues to support the Somali National Security Forces operations, the administration, and training in the areas of responsibility. On the other hand, AMISOM police units are continuing to carry out their mandated tasks in Mogadishu, Baidoa, Kismayo, Beledweyne, Johar, and Adado. These activities are taking place with immense sacrifice by the troop and police contributing countries, and in the context of inadequate and very limited resources. Mr. President, the reality in the theater of operations has changed. The enemy is resorting to new tactics which are posing new challenges. The need to adjust to these new challenges and overcome the enemy is pressing. The terrorist group continues to maintain control of pockets of territories around the Juba Valley corridor and along the northeastern coastline. Their stronghold in these areas has been reinforced by the growing influence and influx of foreign fighters, mostly through the neighboring Yemen. These territories need to be recovered from the enemy as an integral part of the process for its degradation and eventual defeat. To do this, the African Union reiterates its call for the deployment of additional forces, key combat and stabilization capabilities in order to enable AMISOM and the Somali National Security Forces conduct expanded offensive operations. There is urgency for the UN and other members of the international community to provide a one-time support to additional forces of up to 4,000 troops in the form of provision of rations, fuel, transport, and medicine for a limited duration to allow for the conduct of specific military operations as a catalyst for AMISOM imminent drawdown from Somalia. It has become abundantly clear to us, Mr. President, that no matter how effective AMISOM may be, there can be no lasting and sustainable peace and security in Somalia unless capable and properly empowered Somali National Security Forces are in place. We therefore appeal that support continues to be provided to Somali National Security Forces, not only for the upcoming offensive operations, but also in the context of the overall effort of building a comprehensive and capable Somali security apparatus. To this effect, we insist on the need for a better coordinated, complementary, and mutually reinforcing partner intervention in the area of security in Somalia. Our individual and dispersed interventions, much as they are accepted and appreciated, are having limited effect in our joint security effort in the country. We will continue to join hands with the UN in our effort to work closely with our partners in this endeavor. Even so, a comprehensive approach to security is indispensable. This should be anchored on the concurrence of mutually reinforcing factors, such as presence and adequate territorial expansion of functioning state institutions, democratic governance, provision of humanitarian assistance and other essential services to the people, dispute resolution mechanisms, building capable national security forces, preventing and addressing the conditions conducive to violent extremism and radicalization that lead to terrorism are the best way of guaranteeing sustainable peace and security to Somalia. We recognize that partners like the UK and others are doing a very commendable job in this regard. We look forward to continuing working with them in this field. We, Mr. President, are happy that a suitable solution was found for the payment of stipends to the Burundian contingent serving in AMISOM. But this problem is a reflection of the limited resources and the limited funding that AMISOM is facing. A solution, a sustainable, lasting, and acceptable solution must be found to ensure that AMISOM is properly funded, because we are fighting with our bare hands against an enemy that has acquired expertise to produce explosive devices that are so powerful that can bring down this building. Mr. Chairman, the possibilities of considering that the assessed contribution is taken into account for the funding of AMISOM become now very important. I thank you, Mr. President.